My case topic is an LMS debacle, thrombus or dissection. I'm Dr. Mohammad Suleiman from Peshawar Institute of Cardiology. My patient was a 65-year-old male having no risk factor. He had a recent anterior wall MI, which was treated with thrombolysis. He was referred to it for post-MI angina. His ejection fraction was 50%, and his biochemical profile was normal. His diagnostic core angiography showed single vessel disease, osteoproximal LAD extending all the way up to the mid-course. For such Medina Kalash 010 lesion, there are three options available. The first one is ostial stenting, which is preferred if intracoronary imaging available, upon which there is no LMS disease and a good placement zone. The two-stent strategy is usually reserved for two bifurcation lesion. The third option is provisional strategy, which usually end up in a single stent. We choose provisional crossover stenting because it was an acute case and we wanted to keep it simple and safe. In provisional crossover strategy, there was some supporting evidence, and the main one is this EBC latest consensus document, which says that the vast majority of the patient only need a provisional crossover stenting. It is also worth mentioning the study by Dr. Ragatelli, which showed that left main crossover stenting is superior to ostial stenting in isolated ostial LAD disease. We proceeded with our plan. And as LAD lesion was quite lengthy, we decided to cover it with two stents. The first stent was deployed from proximal to mid LAD. The second stent was deployed from left main to LAD. And it is also worth mentioning here that the length of balloon protruding into left main should be equal. Length of stent protruding into left main should be equal or more than minimum length balloon available in your cath lab, so that an optimum port can be performed. After deployment of this stent, there was slow flow in the both arteries, resulting in hemodynamic collapse. We started an immediate CPR, and due to just limited information with this this one cine, we were not sure either dissection or thrombus. So we made a plan that we will first do daughtering and pre-dilatation of the left circumflex artery, and if there is any thrombus, it can be pushed from the main vessel. And if above fails, we will assume dissection and stent it. So after pre-dilatation and daughtering of the left circumflex artery, the left circumflex flow was no better, and the return of spontaneous circulation was achieved. However, in the second picture, you can see that the stent was displayed distally and it was not in the attendant position. It was just at the ostium of LAD. So we switched our strategy to the two stents. Initially, we decided to do DK crush. However, it was difficult to negotiate a stent and balloon inside 6 French catheter. So we switched our strategy to reverse tap. So we deployed one left circumflex stent with minimal protrusion into the left main, and we crushed it with another stent from left main to LAD. Now the flow was established. As previously, it was difficult to negotiate two balloons, so we decided to optimize the Carina with port side port. Port side port or port kiss port is the parameter of success in bifurcation stenting, especially when two stents are used based on the EBC consensus document. However, it was very difficult to do the side branch wiring despite port. So final kissing balloon inflation was staged. In order to comply with better is the enemy of good philosophy, we send our patient to the CCU where he remained asymptomatic and his ejection fraction remained same. The very next day, we did intracoronary imaging, which revealed highly underexpanded LAD stent, and the Carina was not optimized. The finding can also be confirmed from left circumflex IVUS stent, which shows malformed Carina stent. In addition, the left circumflex stent of distal edge ended up in the disease segment. This also needed fixing with another stent. So we devised a plan to fix this left circumflex stent and precise post-dilatation of LAD and left circumflex under expanded stent and Carina optimization with port kiss port. After deployment of left circumflex distal stenting, the excellent flow was achieved. We also did post-dilatation of left circumflex and LAD stent with appropriately sized balloon based on the IVUS finding. For Carina optimization, we did kiss port optimization, and for kissing, we used modified kissing balloon inflation. In modified kissing balloon inflation, we initially inflate our side branch balloon up to 12 atmosphere, then we reduce its pressure to the 4 atmosphere and keep it there. And then we inflate our main branch balloon to the 12 atmosphere and then simultaneous deflation of both balloons. Then we finished our procedure with final port. The reason for modified kissing balloon inflation is that it has shown superiority over conventional simultaneous kissing balloon inflation in terms of ostial air stenosis and ellipticity index. The report clinical study also shown that after kissing balloon inflation, the final part should be done to reduce the side branch obstruction, less stent malposition, and improve elasticity. We also did final IVIS run, which shows Carina was now optimized and well expanded LAD. And the IVIS left circumflex IVIS also showed the same results. This was our final picture showing good distal flow. The take-home message is that we should keep it in simple and safe, especially in acute setting. Provisional stenting does not mean one stent. 22% needed second stent in ABC main trial. And angiographic guided ostial stenting should be avoided. In approximately 86% of cases, disease was extended into left main in one study. 7 French system should be used for left main provisional stentings to avoid complication like we had. And this also shows the importance of intracoronary imaging in left main PCI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammad Suleiman. Because of interest of time, we move on to our next talk. Stuck between two anatomical ambiguities. Dr. Zile Umar joining us from NICVT Live. Okay. Our next talk is ventricular septal rupture by Dr. Ghufran Adnan. Is from EKUH.
And we can have some quick 30 seconds, no rebuttal comments.
This is just a comment regarding the case. Dr. Nadeem Razvi pointed out a very important thing. Following the left main stenting, there was narrowing in the proximal LAD, and regarding this intramural hematoma. So in that sort of a situation, if you don't image and put in a stent in there, there is a milking effect which causes the hematoma to move distally and occlude the vessel distally. So ideally, in those sort of situations, and also in this situation where you had this problem in the circumflex, ideally imaging should have been done before doing any intervention on the circumflex rather than doing it the next day.
Sir, this is the point I was going to make, which Dr. Saab mentioned in the end. All the cases that we have seen, the complications could have been prevented by doing an IVIS beforehand. And I think it is mandatory to do a pre-procedure IVIS in all left main cases.
Especially left main and osteal.
I think especially left main and ostial LADs should be treated the same.
Sohail, I would just like to add that, as a general rule, ostial nailing, what we call, is really, a very tricky thing to do. And I mean, to be honest with you, should be avoided in most cases, because what we see angiographically is completely sometimes different from what the actual situation is. And I think this is a tricky thing to do otherwise.
So quick question, what is the best view for nailing the left main stem? At least the ostium of the left main stem.
Iliocranial.
Iliocranial. So I think what the bottom line to me is that you've had these, how to set up a constructive arts program, how to do a CTO program, how to set up a CTO program. I think you probably would have benefited maybe a little more if you had set up a primary PCI program or a left main stent program, because the equipment you want for left main, unless you have 5 millimeter or short balloons, short stents,